Hello, I'm Zombee Kat.
And this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And this is our video about my custom 6-scale farmer zombie that I made.
Cool. I thought he was a hillbilly zombie.
He's like farmer, redneck, hillbilly, you know.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. His name's Jebediah.
He looks like a Jebediah. So, Zombee Kat customized this figure, got the clothes, the head, and the arms, and fixed it all up, made the base, and we'll go over all that. But I guess we can start looking at the figure up close. So, his head is one of them Coup models zombie heads. I use a similar one for my army zombie, and this is a different sculpt. I'll show side by side, but it's actually a different sculpt, but very similar in some ways. And the hands too are also from that, but there's some modifications to the hands also.
Isn't the body from that too?
Oh yeah, the body too, because it has the arms and the legs. We can't really see the legs very much, but the arms are sculpted, look like zombie arms, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. So my inspiration started with, we were up at camp and I just had that head and I just decided to start gluing some scraggly hair to it. And then after I glued the hair to it, I slowly came up with the plan to make him like a farmer hillbilly type. So I had to find, I wanted overalls and I wanted a pitchfork and I wanted a banjo. Those are all essential items.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some before pictures that I took that we could show. There's not a whole lot of them, but it was like before I started painting everything.
Yeah, the head, even though it was already a zombie head, you did some modifications to it. Looks a lot better now.
Yeah, I added a bunch more blood, and I darkened around his eyes and whited his eyes out because they were like pearl colored for some reason, like iridescent.
Yeah, and like you said, the hair really looks like hair.
I know that was the whole inspiration for this whole thing, is because the hair looked like that.
Oh, you mentioned you forgot to finish the eyes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna put a little bit of gloss clear coat over the eyes, and I didn't even realize that I'd forgotten to do it until I put them under these lights, and I'm like, his eyes look like real bright white and flat.
Yeah.
So I'll still have to do that.
Yeah, that blood paint looks really good on it too.
I love that paint. But yeah, I got the overalls were like brand new looking, and I had to do a lot of wear on them, sanding them and adding dirt and stuff.
You went to what was a mechanic figure or something?
Yeah, it was a mechanic figure. And I took one of there was like a panel down the front of it that looked weird that I took off. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
The shirt is supposed to be like a Civil War shirt or something like that. I just wanted like a button-down plaid shirt. It was actually a lot harder to find one that was appropriate than I thought it would be.
It works. And you cut the hole in the pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see a little bit. We'll look at it in more detail, but you can see a little bit of his leg wound through the hole.
Oh, the pitchfork was kind of hard to find. You'd think a 6-scale pitchfork would come up, but
it's not even really a 6-scale pitchfork. It's just like around the right size. It's not really the right size. That handle's way too thick.
It's supposed to be
close enough.
A utensil, isn't it, for real people to use?
Yeah.
Shaped like a pitchfork.
Mm-hmm. It was a set. It was a pitchfork and a rake that came together. They were like miniature utensils or something like that. They were called.
And the banjo. Banjo was just a banjo, a really nice one, but you.
Yeah, it was like really brand new and shiny looking, and I had to do a lot to it to make it look old.
Yeah.
The boots too. I painted all the black around the boots because they were brand new looking.
Looks like he's been walking in some manure or oil or something. Got his boots all dirty. Or blood. Something.
I don't know what it is, but they're dirty.
Oh, and I did a little bit on this. That was the
wrists.
The skin on the wrist and at the elbow. Put the skin on there like I did with my army zombie. Because it looks much better than just having a joint exposed.
Mm-hmm. And the wraps that they had around it. When you buy it, it has like gauze tape wrapped around it. And I'm like, why would a zombie be taped up?
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
Well, trying to heal his wounds before he dies.
I guess.
And the base you made, it was just a plain old black base.
Mm-hmm.
But you really customized that.
Yeah, I added like a whole nother week of work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing I did was I bought like, it was like rattan or something. The material I used on here. I did that. I glued all the rattan on there. It's like strips, like almost like a ribbon. And I just glued them overlapping all the way around. And then I put I used latex and cotton on the base to make it look more like dirt because it was way too flat and it had like the weird beveled edges. And then after the latex I used model train rocks and dirt and grass. Glued all that on there and drilled holes to put the pitchfork in and glued that in. And then I put some blood on it.
Looks like he's dripping everywhere. I do like this covering up the stand.
Yeah, I wanted to put bark on it, and then I tried to like harvest my own bark from a stick and almost cut my thumb open, so I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. So then I was trying to buy bark from somewhere and I couldn't find anything that was like what I wanted. So I almost gave up on that idea until I found that weird string stuff. So I'm glad it worked out. I think it looks pretty good.
Forget, does the pitchfork come out?
No, it does not.
Okay.
I considered making it able to come out, but he can't hold it anyway, so I just glued it in.
Yeah. And that would also depend on the type of zombie story you're going with. Mm-hmm. Some zombies would never hold any kind of object. Some versions of zombies do.
Oh, and I also, the way that I painted the blood on his banjo, I was imagining that he used it to kill a couple zombies before he turned into one. That's why it's like splattered on there like he was hitting somebody with it.
Oh. It must be a sturdy banjo.
Well, look at all the metal around the edge.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually, through trial and experiment, learned a lot while I was doing this about weathering clothes. I used starch on the overall pant legs, and I like squished them up real tight so they were all bunched together and let the starch dry. And while they were still scrunched up, I sanded them really good with a sanding block. So then when I pulled them down, they had those nice crinkly lines where they're actually worn out on the wrinkle instead of randomly.
Yeah.
And it turned out pretty good.
Reminds me a lot of 3-0's walkers that are all wrinkled.
Mm-hmm, like the pet walkers.
Yeah.
It's kind of what made me think to do that. But I sanded pretty much everywhere on all the clothes trying to make them look older because the shirt also was like super stiff when I first got it. And the sanding it took that out, made it a little bit softer so it hangs better. And I think I used like 180 grit and 220, I think are the ones that I used, so it was pretty fine grit. That way it's just not like just ripping it apart. It's hard to tell at first, but there's actually a little disc in here that's supposed to be his can of chew. And I sanded it so that you can see the circle. And it's like leaking, that's why the edge of his pocket's all dirty.
Marcus would say, attention to detail.
I had a lot of fun making him, and I think this is definitely my best custom so far. I think he turned out really good.
He's really cool.
I'm selling him for $1.6 million.
What if someone offers that for real?
If they really did offer that, I would sell him.
I don't think
I'm not planning on selling him.
He got no nose on his face. Poor guy.
Well, I was also thinking that he was already a skinny, scrawny, little scraggly man before he turned. So he looks like he's an ancient zombie, but he's not really that old. He was just already like that.
Yeah.
The one thing the Banjo did not come with, it came with a case, which I have sitting in a box somewhere because what am I going to use that for? But it did not have a strap on it, and it actually didn't have a way to attach a strap. So I had to put little, on this end I stuck a metal ring through this little piece sticking out, and then on the back of it I screwed in a little hook and eye thing. And this strap is actually one of the dog leashes that came with my Mr. Z little dog statues that were with my other custom. I just used the sandpaper again and roughed it up. And I think it makes a pretty good Banjo strap.
Yeah.
Here he is next to the soldier zombie that Mr. Evilcheese made. And you can see how the faces they're somewhat similar. They're from like the same maker, the same series, I don't know what you call it.
The body and the arms are, well, the body and the hands are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Same cool model hands.
I really like that open mouth.
Yeah.
Yours, the blood you put dripping off of his chin's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They look cool standing next to each other. They definitely look like they're from the same zombie universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to get more zombies like these with a really deteriorated look to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the zombies we have aren't as deteriorated looking.
We need more options for bodies to use, though.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have different torn up bodies and not just the same one over and over again.
And skinny bodies too.
Mm-hmm.
Bodies that look like they've been zombified and all bony looking.
People raisins.
Yeah.
That's basically what zombies are. They're people raisins. Here he is next to the two other zombie customs I've done, which is Leaky Larry and Schoolgirl Zombie. She does need a name, doesn't she?
Well,
Since the other two do.
Yeah.
Their names just kind of happened. I didn't like sit around trying to think of a name. It just kind of happened. Well, there he is.
Yep. He looks really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job on him. All of the customizing of the head and the clothes and everything. Looks real good. In the base.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how he turned out. Started as a project where I'm like, oh, well, I'll just slap this together real quick, and then turned into probably the most complicated one that I've made.
Yeah.
Especially since I decided to add the base. I just made it like double. Everything turned out pretty much how I wanted it to.
Yeah. It looks pretty awesome.
Well, I guess that's it. Zombee Kat,
Miss Mischief T.
thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Oh crap! There's nowhere to go! It's gonna get me! What?
I bet I can make you squeal like a pig.
What?
Hey everyone, it's Clementine from The Walking Dead, and you are watching Mr. Evilcheese and Zombee Kat. Don't be a shitbird and subscribe already. Do it. Thanks.